Hey everybody, welcome to my next listing. And man, does this look like deja vu all over again? Maybe, but I featured a DP-45f just a couple weeks ago. This is not that turntable, but it's an incredible simulation. No, that one is actually got a new happy home. Hi Matt, how you doing? This is another DP-45f. It has been recapped and restored. It also has a Audio Technica cartridge on it. It is ready to rock. And I think the Snoop Dogg, I hear him whimpering out there. Maybe we'll see him in the next segment. And let's go over the features and functions of this really cool machine. So during our break here, we had a visitor. It's the mighty Snoop Dogg, ladies and gentlemen. Say hi, Snoop Dogg. Yep, that's what he he's like a subtle actor. You know what I mean? He's not in your face, is what I guess I'm trying to say. But anyway, we're doing great. He's doing fine. Man, I'm finally getting into Christmas spirit here. I already thought that I was gonna be bah humbug, and because if you turn TV on long enough, the world's coming to an end. It's always been coming to an end. I hope you guys are great and have family and friends and great music and a cool turntable to listen to. And if one of those things is a cool turntable that you need, holy shit, here we go. I normally don't feature same kind of turntables right after each other, just because I try to do a plethora of different choices. But the 45F is my favorite turntable of all of everything, because as you guys know, if you follow me, this is where I started. So I still have my own 45F. It's over in my home theater room. That's my reference turntable in there. Yes, I've got GT 2000s and 59Ls and DP-80s and that stuff, but it's what I grew up with. That's what I love. So anyway, this is an almost identical one to the one I did a couple weeks ago. It's been recapped and restored. It's got Nichicons and Elnas and Panasonics on the electrolytic caps. The motor's been lubed. The arm's been lubed. Bearings upper and lower. The CDS photo sensors have been changed. All the front panel switches have been cleaned. The Q damping and anti-skating have been done. The motor waveforms were set with a scope. The variable resistors for everything, for the arm movement and the tracking force, have been set with a voltmeter. This one also has a brand new VM95E Audio Technica elliptical stylus. They're just a great freaking match on this thing. And the reason why I dig them so much is because they're expandable. This line of Audio Technicas, there's actually a cheaper one, a conical one that's less than this. But it's not that much less, but it's not nearly as good. This is actually a really cool sounding elliptical stylus. Punches way above its weight. And the beauty of it is you can go all the way up the line to a Shibata stylus if you want to. I wouldn't put Shibata on this table, but you could get a micro line or whatever, and just down the road, if this thing wears out or you want to use this as a backup, the stylus part, and the weights are the same, you just literally pop them in and you don't have to do any changing. The one thing this one is different than the other one is that this one's got upgraded feet on it. This one had a bad foot on it, so rather than just trying to find a old dilapidated foot, I put brand new feet on here. They're still sprung. They're still using the factory springs here. They're just a little bit taller, okay? Because I'm using like heavier duty rubber, okay? So anyway, that's the gist. And the dust cover has a little line in it right here. Now I can get you a brand new dust cover. Matt, the guy who got the last turntable, he decided to get a brand new dust cover, which is why this one has this dust cover. Now I can get you a new cover. I don't have one here, but my guy in California can get them for about $100. And probably what I'd like to do is, if you get this turntable in time for Christmas, I'll ship it to you with this. This looks great. I mean, most people don't use a dust cover. It looks great. And then I can hook you up with him. You can buy the dust cover directly from him at my price. He'll ship it directly to you. And, you could, someone will give you $50 for that dust cover. So you got, there you go. Plus, it's way easier to protect a turntable, by shipping with some kind of a dust cover on it. Anyway. So with that being said, I've been so lucky and blessed this year. I'm almost as lucky and blessed as this band I'm about to feature for you. You may not have ever heard of them. You probably heard their one-hit wonder, which is actually a two-hit wonder. But geez, oh man, they had a couple of really big streaks of good luck. And they seem like really nice guys. They're Canadian, so hey, go figure. But let's go ahead and talk about a little bit the Kings. That fine print that goes across the record in the background says Extreme Rock and Roll. It's not extreme rock and roll. It's just some great power pop new wave. This is the Kings and their first 1980 record called The Kings Are Here. Okay. Wow. So the Kings started out in 1977 as the Whistle Kings. They were Doug Diamond was the bass player and lead singer. Mr. Zero, his real name's John Picard, which if you thought about it, after Star Trek came out, he'd probably been cooler being John Picard. But Mr. Zero was the lead guitar player. They had Scott Keys on keyboards and Max Styles on the drums. And like their fellow guys in Honeymoon Suite, Canadian band I featured a while back, they had actually won a radio station contest in Canada. But it didn't get them a record deal, didn't get them a bunch of studio time, didn't even get them free guitars. But what it did do is it made them decide to hunker down and just get good. And they did, man. Like I said, these guys, the first big lucky thing that happened to them was they had a buddy who had a big rehearsal space. He must have cut him a deal because they were able to put a whole PA, light show, everything, and there was mirrors in the back of it. So not only could they work on their whole stage act with a full PA and lighting to choreograph it, they had mirrors where they could actually watch their moves. And if you ever see these guys, there's a YouTube video of them on American Bandstand. I'm getting a little ahead of it here. They actually played American Bandstand, and they're like synchronized swimmers. I mean, they do these moves and stuff. They really entertaining live band, and they're really good. So they spent like 6 months, 6 days a week, rehearsing, playing gigs, on and on. They worked on their songs. They wrote hundreds of songs. But what they started to realize was all their songs were like 9 and 10 minutes long, which is cool if you want to be that kind of band. But, it's not the stuff that hits are made out of. So they shortened their name from the Whistle Kings to the Kings. They shortened their songs down, and they saved their nickels and dimes. I guess that's what Canadian money is. They saved their Canadian dollars, and they booked some time in the famous Nimbus 9 studios in Toronto. Nimbus 9 is a really world-renowned studio at the time. It was ran by Jack Richardson, and their in-house producer was a guy named Bob Ezrin. This is that part of the tell you stop the freaking go see Bob Ezrin. Bob Ezrin is a freaking genius. He produced Peter Gabriel. He produced, God, oh man, I mean, Alice Cooper, all the great Alice Cooper records. And, he basically was working out of Nimbus 9, but he got so good, they flew him around the world. He would go be away for months at a time and cut records all over the world. And he just got back into town from doing a little record, you may have heard of it, called The Wall by Pink Floyd. Yes, he produced that album. And he stops back in his home studio. Hey guys, how you doing? Long time no see. Yeah, Pink Floyd was great, wasn't it? Yeah, no problems there. I'm sure Roger and Dave got along great. Anyway, he hears some music coming through the walls and realizes it's this band, the Kings, and he takes a liking to them. He realizes they're raw, but there's something there he likes. So he basically goes in, introduces himself, and decides to mother hen the band. He takes them under his wing, shows them how to make records, shows them how to cut their songs down, how to do stuff. They cut a first track, and he flies out to LA, and he meets with Elektra Records. And the legend goes that they were playing this record, and you could hear it out on the street there, and these kids walked by and they heard the song and they started dancing to it. That's probably bullshit. What really probably happened was frickin' Bob Ezrin walks into a label coming off of The Wall and says, hey, I got this band. I really like these guys. I'm going to work with them, and I like to make their record. You want to give them a record deal? That's what happened. They got a record deal. He got to sleep in his own bed, get paid to make a record, and it wasn't probably the drama that was Roger Waters and David Gilmour. So he got in the studio, and they cut this record called The Kings Are Here. Elektra, when it released it, they did the second song on this record as the first single. Great song. It actually started to climb the charts a little bit. But what happened was these guys, there was a trend, not a big trend, but there was a thing going on where if you could combine two songs together, FM radio would play them together. It kind of started with Bohemian Rhapsody, or We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions. Bohemian Rhapsody was long. We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions was long. Feeling That Way at Any Time from Journey, the two songs that were different. They just worked together really well. They just butted up against each other. So they did that with the first song on this record, and the second song. But Elektra didn't think that anybody would listen to a 6-minute single from an unknown band. Well, radio stations started realizing that these things went together, and they started playing them that way. So basically what happened was they got Elektra to re-release the song as a double A-side, double single, and both the songs went together. Now, those two songs are called, they're called, The Beat Goes On and Switch into Glide. Okay? So I'm going to try to figure out a way to play both these songs. I mean, it's 6 minutes. So I don't want to get you with that. You can just YouTube it. But to play both these songs together. So they did that. Okay? They put these two songs together, got played. The record itself went to like number 56 in the country. But because of the power radio, in certain cities, they was a big hit. In Chicago, top 10 song in Chicago. And other markets as well. It was just the power of radio for you. So they released another song on the album. It went okay. Not as big as these two. They did a follow-up record called Amazon Beach that Bob Ezrin also did, but it failed to chart. And Elektra dropped the band. So normally you go, shit, it's over, man. Good luck. You had a run. It was all good. No, third lucky break. They're Canadian. The law in Canada at the time, I think they may have changed it now, I don't know. But the law back then was that on Canadian radio, all music played on, 40% of every song played on Canadian radio had to be from a Canadian artist. And because these guys had a bunch of success down in the States, hey, there's suddenly April Wine. They're getting played in every grocery store and radio station in Canada. I mean, they went out and toured with Jeff Beck. There was a YouTube video. There was a little documentary about the making of the song. And these guys tell a hilarious story about opening for Jeff Beck, but nobody told the crowd that they was an opening band. So these guys come out and they just get pelted. They're getting hit with water bottles and coins and batteries. I mean, it was terrible. It was just, but they're Canadian, so they laugh it off. Actually, you can tell these guys are really nice guys. But anyway, second record didn't make it, but they're Canadian, so they kept recording and releasing records in Canada for 15 years after that, right? But by 1990, the song becomes a hit again in Chicago. FM DJs rediscovered the song. They started playing it. People got into it. A whole new generation started hearing the song. So, unfortunately, Elektra Records, you couldn't get this record. It was out of print. It's done. I mean, you couldn't buy it anywhere. This is before, in the 1990s, before eBay. So you couldn't go online and buy it. Nobody could buy the record. It got so bad that the local radio station guys there, they probably had some kind of morning zoo, local band kind of thing. And the DJs got together. They had a cover band, and they cut as faithful of a rendition of the song as they could, and they sold that. So the Kings got fucked out of getting rediscovered, basically, because, the big machine of the record label fucked them over. But that's okay, like I said, because they're Canadian. They made all these records. Dave Diamond and Mr. Zero have kept the band together to this day. I mean, all this time. They've been through a plethora of drummers and bass players, and the keyboard player comes and goes. He plays the big gigs when they do reunions or anniversaries of the record release or whatever. But, they are still, to this day, gigging. They get together every so often. They're kind of, they're local heroes or national heroes, actually. They got into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame because of these tracks. So God bless them, man. They're just freaking rocking it. And like I said, the video just shows they did it right. I mean, they're self-effacing. They're just happy for the success they got. They've parlayed it into a really good, just good career. No, they're not Bob Seger, but they just made it into a really good rock and roll career. So with that all being done, that's the story of the Kings. Now I'm going to try to figure out how to segue these two songs together. I'll probably do a couple segments where I blend them. Hopefully it works out. If it doesn't, if it does, you'll probably still hear it. But thank you guys so much for checking them out. Let's go ahead and try to show you the features and functions of this turntable and play a little bit of The Beat Goes On and Switch into Glide for you. So I'm trying to think of a way to play both these songs and give you an idea how they mesh together. And you know, it's 6 minutes long, and you know, the break between the two songs is about 4 minutes in. So you know, you can YouTube the song and hear it. You know, and it's coming through an iPhone. And when I turn the camera, I know the sound changes a lot, so you're not really getting the gist of the whole thing. So I think what I'm going to do is show you the features and functions here real quick. I'll start Beat Goes On. I'll fade it out. I'll go to another segment and do it right where it blends in to switch into glide. It probably makes the most sense. But anyway, fully automatic turntable. I probably should have mentioned that if you guys didn't know. That's why I'm featuring as many fully automatic turntables as I can before Christmas, because that seems to be the kind of thing that people like to give as gifts. You know, you might be a vinyl nut. Maybe you're giving something to a son or a daughter or a second bedroom kind of thing. And, you know, maybe those people aren't into having a GT2000. If they are, call me. But, you know, really good performing, fully automatic turntable, hit one button, you're ready to go, right? So you got a power button right here, okay? It's turned on right now. I'll turn it off and put it back on again to show you. When you first fire this thing up, it does what I call a happy dance. Arm pops up, comes back down, because this is microprocessor control. You have 33 and 45 here for your speeds. They're manual. They light up either way. But you won't ever use these because this thing has sensors on it that not only can tell what size the record is and pick the speed, it can tell if there's no record. And it won't even move the arm over, right? So you have locate function right here. With the dust cover down, you can motorize the arm in and out. So if you know, it's really great if you got this thing on a shelf where you can't like pick the dust cover up all the way, you know. This green light right here will lock. It's kind of like a power light, but once you get the motor spinning, it'll lock again, and that tells you that it's locked to your 33 or 45, right? Your lifter here lifts the arm up and down, as you can see. Repeat will play the side over and over and over and over again because it's fully automatic turntable. Start is start, stop is stop. Whatever it's doing. If it's started, you can stop it here. If it's stopped, you can start it there. As I mentioned, this is a brand new Audio-Technica VM95E cartridge. They punch way above their weight, man. I mean, I think I'm just going to start using these exclusively on when I try to make a turntable as affordable as I can and still have it sound good. They rock, and you can expand them. So you're not just stuck with a $60 cartridge. You can make a $250 cartridge out of it by sliding another stylus on it. So set screw here moves and pulls the head shell, so you can change cartridges if you want. You have an arm lock here that locks it down. These two buttons are for your anti-skating and Q damping. I'm tracking at 2 grams, so that's what the AT needs here. And Q damping is because, as you guys know, it has the Denon servo tracer tracker arm that I know and love. In a nutshell, it uses magnets to move the arm around. There's no gears and pulleys and all that. Matter of fact, it even uses magnets to suck the arm down to the 2 grams. Which is why if you don't know what you're doing when you set these things up, you bitch at me. And you don't bitch at me, people don't use that. But like you break your stylus because you set up the 2 grams normally. You put this on 2 grams, you play a record and it snapped your needle because you put 4 grams of tracking force on it, Bob. Anyway, ballast style counterweight right there. This little deal right here, people ask about this. That little nipple there, that little nylon thing. This set screw picks how high the lifter lifts, okay? You don't want it too high because it puts too much pressure and slows the arm down. You don't want it too low because you could have a warped record. And I got it set perfectly for you. This light shines across here. People think it's a power light, but that's what reads these little sensors I mentioned underneath here. It makes it work, right? So when you want to play a record on this thing, first of all, you don't have 3 drinks, or maybe you do because it's automatic. You put a record on here, you hit the start. Let me go ahead and blend into a little bit of Beat Goes On, and I'll figure out how to fade this thing and get you to switch into glide. But check out, really cool band, The Kings. Here we go. hopefully that all melds together. But that is the combination of those two songs they put together that became a freaking icon. And it's just a really, you know, everybody's probably heard this song, but nobody knows who it's by. Well, hopefully you do now, man. So thanks for checking this out. And let me go ahead and put the dust cover down, and we'll wrap up how you can make this thing your own. So one of the things that struck me about that last segment, because I just listened back to it to see how I could figure out how to blend them, it sounds freaking great. I mean, most of the time you guys have probably only heard this thing on a CD or on radio, or it's all compressed and fucked up. That record is so dynamic and so punchy that even on a relatively inexpensive turntable, it freaking rocks. This record is like, you know, hey, why did I get into vinyl? Well, go play the CD version of this song. Grab this record. You probably can get it for $5 on, you know, on eBay or Discogs, and realize, holy shit, that's why. Because it's not squonked in a dynamic range. It just sounds really good. So anyway, with the dust covered down, let me go to the map. Thank you guys so much again for checking this out. I'm trying to get a few more done before Christmas. We'll get that in a second. But, man, this is a really... The turntable sounds minty nice. The dust cover's got that little mark in it. If that doesn't bother you, jump on this thing, because it is, again, only $500 plus shipping with the brand new cartridge on it. Holy sheep shit, Batman. That's with the upgraded feet. So, you know, it is ready to rock. If you need a new dust cover, like I said, email me, we'll talk, we'll figure it out. Like I said, I mean, certain nights you can see it, other ones you can't. But man, you can't touch anything, you know, out there for $500. It's going to sound like this. I just forget about it. So with that being said, again, if you have a choice between a turntable and a dog, get the dog, okay? Let me know you got the dog, okay? I want to hear about it, right? Some of you guys have sent me pictures of your own rescue dogs and stuff, and I got to admit, man, it just, you know, it stops me in my tracks because they're just such loving, caring animals. You know, what can I tell you? So anyway, like I said, this thing is $500 plus the shipping, okay? I only take Zelle. I only take PayPal, friends and family. If you want that new dust cover, I'll hook you up with my guy. You can just pay him down the road. You may want to live with this thing, see if you like it. I mean, there's no time limit. As long as he's still breathing, he'll make you a dust cover. So with that being said, man, I can't thank you guys enough. The next turntables up are possibly going to be a 67L. Yes, another freaking king of the deal. I got a guy who may want to buy it. So you may not see that. I have a 57L that may be coming up, but I think the next turntable on the list is going to be another fully automatic turntable. Wait for it, everybody. A Victor QLY 55F. I've had so many people ask about those things, 55, 66s, and 77s. I'm so sorry, I'm a freaking idiot. I just don't keep tons and tons of emails and stuff, right? So if you've been hitting me up wanting a 55, this is a nice one, man. This thing is ready to rock. So it's going to be a lot more money than this. But with that being said, if you really want a killer fully automatic turntable, one of the best ones ever made, hit me about that one. But in the meantime, you can't go wrong with this thing. It just sounds great. It works great. Probably because it is great. So thank you so much again, guys. I appreciate you. Email me with any questions. Hug your loved ones. I hope you've got loved ones to hug, man. We've heard some sad stories. We do the Christmas angel thing every year, man. It just, you know, I go in there every year going, I'm only going to spend $100. I'm just going, shit. Yeah. Putting a kid through school or something. But God, man, it just makes you feel so good. So hopefully you're on the end that's able to give this year instead of being on the end that needs to receive. But if you are, God bless y'all, man. I hope you guys are doing great. We'll talk to you soon. Catch me on my next video. I'll get it out as soon as I can. And Merry Christmas, everybody.